Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Trey McCray, and this is Character Transmutation LLC, where we transform your character from lead to gold. Now, this is chapter 3 of our video series on the science of getting rich by Wallace D. Wattles. We're going to be breaking it down, and I'm going to be reading it through. So, let's get into it, guys. Chapter 3. It's opportunity monopolized. No one is kept poor because opportunity has been taken away or because other people have monopolized the wealth and have put a fence around it. You may be shut off from engaging in business in certain lines, but there are other channels open to you. At different periods, the tide of opportunity sets in different directions, according to needs as a whole and a particular stage of social evolution that has been reached. At the beginning of the 21st century in America, manufacturing and related industries are declining. But new opportunities are opening up in many areas such as healthcare, computers, and service industries, or things like AI, things like more independent contracting. In developing countries in Asia, Africa, South America, tremendous opportunities are opening in manufacturing and service industries. Many multinational companies are outsourcing production and even service activities to enterprising entrepreneurs in these nations. Opportunities to become rich are growing rapidly. There is abundance of opportunity for the person who will go with the tide instead of trying to swim against it. So this is the adaptation. You must adapt with the times, or alchemy, right? Nobody is deprived of opportunity. Workers are not being kept down by their masters. They are not being ground by conglomerates or cartels. People can move up from lower level jobs or poorly paid occupations when they begin to do things in a certain way. The law of wealth is the same for them as it is for all. This they must learn, and they will remain where they are as long as they continue to do as they do. You must change and grow. You must change your mindset. No one is kept in poverty by shortness in the supply of riches. There is more than enough for all. A palace, as large as the Capitol at Washington, might be built for every family on earth from the building material in the United States alone. Under intensive cultivation, this country could produce wool, cotton, linen, and silk enough to clothe each person in the world finer than Solomon was arrayed in all his glory, together with food enough to feed them all luxuriously. This is the mindset of abundance. The visible supply is practically inexhaustible, and the invisible supply really is inexhaustible. Everything you see on earth is made from one divine substance, one with all things perceived. Now we get into the thought process of creation, right? The substance of the ether, that which cannot be perceived by your physical senses. But check this out. New forms are constantly being made, and older ones are dissolving, but all are shapes assumed by the eternal God. Shout out to the Father. There is no limit to the supply of divine stuff. The universe is made out of it, but it was not all used in making the universe. The spaces in between, the forms of the visible universe are permeated and filled with the divine stuff, with the raw material of all things. 10,000 times as much as has been made might still be made. And even then, we should not have exhausted supply of universal raw material. No person, therefore, is poor because nature is poor, or because there is not enough to go around. Nature is an inexhaustible storehouse of riches. The supply will never run short. Divine substance is alive with creative energy and is constantly producing more forms. When the supply of building materials is inexhaustible, new resources will be developed to replace them. When the soil is exhausted so that food, stuffs, and materials for clothing will no longer grow upon it, it will be renewed by new developments of science. This is true of the human race collectively. The race as a whole is always abundantly rich. And if individuals are poor, it is because they do not follow the certain way of doing things that makes the individual rich. So now we're talking about the systematic process and getting deeper into the formula, the science of getting rich. Now he's alluding to a certain way, and that certain way is the architecture of success. You have to do things step by step in a systematic way to get the outcome you want. Let's keep going. The divine stuff is intelligent. It is stuff which thinks. It is alive and is always impelled towards more life. See, expansion is the Wallace is going to say that expansion of life, more life, that is living rich. And that's the science of getting rich, growing in all ways. It is the natural and inherent impulse of life to seek to live more. It is the nature of intelligence to enlarge itself and of consciousness to seek to extend its boundaries and find fuller expression. That's why I see AI as another form of consciousness to expand who we are. Keep going. The universe of forms have been made by divine living substance, throwing itself into form in order to express itself more fully. The universe is a great living presence, always moving inherently towards more life and fuller functioning. Nature is formed for the advancement of life. Its impeding motive is the increase of life. For this cause, everything that can possibly minister to life is bountifully provided. There can be no lack unless God is to contradict himself and nullify his own words. You are not kept poor by the lack and supply of riches. It is a fact that shall be demonstrated a little further on, that even the resources of the divine supply are at the command of the man or woman who will act and think in a certain way. All right, that was chapter 3. This is alluding to the law of divine supply, infinite supply, and seeing things in an abundant way. So chapter 4 we're going to get into next video is the first principle in the science of getting rich. So I appreciate you guys, and let's keep going, and let's keep growing from lead to gold.